So 48 wins, third in the West, and we're talking about that playoff experience that they just had. Is there a world that next year that this squad could be the team that can come out of the West? Or is that just like, are we getting too cute with that? And then again, last year, I didn't even think this team was going to make the playoffs when the season started.
Hater.
I know. Not
Did
a believer.
you play in? Were you like play in? That was the goal last year, was play in.
Well, that's so beginning of last year, I said this. This is just what I went by from my basketball knowledge. I'm like, hey, when you add a brand new head coach, it takes a little bit longer to execute the system and and really build a culture. How the hell Mike Brown did it within training camp in 2 weeks and then just kept improving as the season kept going along and it was never a fluke. I just have no idea. That's what makes him so great as a coach. His coaching staff is so great. So it truly wasn't like I just didn't believe. I was just being realistic about what happens in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anyone was coming out saying, "Oh, I think they're going to win 45 to 48 games," that was just
They were a homer.
Yeah. I mean, I think they could be a little above 500.
Yeah, you did.
But I didn't anticipate it being the number one offense in the NBA.
Yeah, that's where
the chemistry, it looked like a team that had played together before, which is pretty impressive with how quickly they were able to kind of come together.
So is there a world where this team comes out of the West then?
Yeah. Well, at first out, let's talk regular season, then we'll talk playoffs.
Oh, okay.
It's very different. But I think what happened last year is also happening this summer, where I just think there's too much of this idea, like the West. Oh, what a gauntlet! Oh, it's so packed. Like, how do you deal with it? I just think it's a bunch of very average teams, and let's give the Nuggets credit. Like, that is your favorite entering the season. If I had to pick now, I take the Nuggets. Like, they proved it. They are the clear one in a tier by themselves. Beyond that, Grizzlies were the 2 seed last year. I mean, I'm not that threatened by them, especially dealing with the Jaws situation. They lost some pieces. Kings at the 3, but below that, I like what Phoenix did around their new guys, but that's going to be an odd experiment with injury-prone stars. Lakers, sure. I mean, they were encouraging, but they're very flawed. They're old. Their 2 main guys are, you don't know about their health. So I do think the Kings, if they have the same type of health that they had, which they at least have players that have more proven track records of being available, and they certainly have a culture and an environment and a younger core that really you would think would attack the regular season similarly, like just with the veracity that they did. So I think if they stay healthy, they're going to win a lot of games. And you mentioned it, 48 wins is the 3rd seed. That's the thing last year that's like 48 didn't seem absolutely outrageous for the Kings. 3 seeds seemed outrageous, but it's like, well, 48 was the 3, and maybe it'll be the 3 again, because I do think it's just going to be a bunch of flawed teams beating each other on most nights. And if you're just a peg above that, if you're just a peg healthier than that, which the Kings have been, if you take the regular season as serious as Fox did, as Mike Brown did, as Sabonis did, right, playing with the thumb, then, you could probably outstretch a team by 5, the rest of the conference by about 5 games. So I'd consider them in that upper crest. Now, playoffs, do I think they're a true contender? I really need to see the Keegan Murray leap, and maybe it'll happen, number 1. And then 2, I probably would have said no a couple weeks ago, but again, Monty McNair kind of clued me into like, trade deadline, like you may add another like really nice 2-way wing or something onto this team, because he uses a first rounder, and Kevin Huerter's contract suddenly becomes OG Anunoby or something like that. So yeah, like, is there a world where they could come out of the West? Yes, because I don't like the West that much, and I do think they're positioned well.